Welcome back here with us on Urban Debate on Mirror Now. Joining us today is a very special guest, former Finance and Home Minister of the country, a very senior Congress leader, Mr. P Chidambaram. Appreciate you joining us here on Mirror Now this evening, sir. Good to have you on the show today. I hope you're feeling better now after what happened yesterday.
I'm fine. I should be all right in a few days. I'm fine.
Good. Mr. Chidambaram, Congress MP Rahul Gandhi was questioned by Enforcement Directorate again today, second day in a row, and we saw a massive show of strength by the party, which calls what happened with Rahul Gandhi unconstitutional and malicious. BJP says it's just a summon. Why make it political?
It is political because they are not answering a few basic questions. Now, I'm assuming that you've read the PMLA. The PMLA requires three things before the ED can start an investigation. One, there must be a scheduled offense, what we call a predicate offense. I have the PMLA Act with me, and this Act contains the scheduled offenses starting from page 78 onwards. So which is a scheduled offense? The second question is, there must be a police agency or a CID or a CBI which registers a case, registers an FIR for a scheduled offense. Now we are asking, which is the FIR? Where is the FIR? Who has registered an FIR? And the third question is, that FIR copy must be given to us, so we'll know whether there is an investigation into a scheduled offense. Now, you don't answer any of these questions. You just summon a person and keep him for 11 hours on one day and maybe already 8-9 hours on another day. This is an outrageous violation of liberty, which is why this has become political. If you told us which is a scheduled offense, who is the agency investigating the scheduled offense, and where is the FIR, and give us a copy of the FIR, we will treat it as any other summons.
So if the action by ED is not justified, then the Congress party can go to the court. What is stopping the Congress party from approaching the court if it is indeed a violation?
We will go to court, but the courts are on vacation now. It's not as though the courts are sitting every day. We will go to court. But we want to demonstrate to the whole world and to all the people of India what kind of investigation this is. And that point has been made effectively yesterday and today. If you ask the social media, they're asking the questions, which is a scheduled offense, which is the agency, where is the FIR? And all we hear is a thundering silence from the BJP spokespersons.
Mr. Chidambaram, BJP has been saying that, this protest march, this mega show of strength only proves Rahul Gandhi has done something wrong. How will you like to respond to this?
Complete rubbish. The income tax case is pending in the Supreme Court. Affidavits have been filed. There are orders which are impugned there. So what is there to hide? Everything is there in the public record. Associated Journal files a profit and loss statement and a balance sheet every year. Young India has filed a balance sheet every year. The records of the companies are before the registrar of companies. So what is there to hide? In fact, I'm surprised they should call for questioning at all. These are all recorded in documents. All you've got to do is read the documents and come to a conclusion.
But, sir, two senior Congress leaders, Mr. Pawan Bansal, who is a Congress party's treasurer, Mr. Mallikarjun Kharge, another very senior leader, were questioned this year as well in April by Enforcement Directorate in connection with a fresh case of money laundering linked to the running of National Herald newspaper, the same case in which Rahul Gandhi has been summoned. That time in April, we didn't see any protest. We didn't really hear Congress party calling it vendetta. They went. Mr. Pawan Bansal was questioned, I remember, for 2 days. And Mr. Kharge for, I believe, 1 day. That time, we didn't hear any of this that you're saying today.
Precisely. Mr. Pawan Bansal and Mr. Mallikarjun Kharge have appeared before the ED and placed the balance sheet, the profit and loss statement, and the company records. After that, why would you call Mr. Rahul Gandhi and Mrs. Sonia Gandhi? What have you found in Mr. Pavan Bansal's deposition and Mr. Mallikarjun Kharge's statement that requires clarification by Mr. Gandhi and Mrs. Gandhi? This is clearly an attempt to escalate matters and confront the Congress party. We are not afraid of a confrontation. If you challenge us, if you confront us, we will fight back.
But ED officials are claiming that, their case is based on the case by the Income Tax Department, and from the courts also, Gandhis have not got any kind of relief, and hence it might not be correct to say that this is a witch hunt, this is only political vendetta, because there is something that the Income Tax Department had found when the transactions took place in 2010 specifically, and the findings, of course, were very, very crucial, and maybe that's the reason why courts also did not provide any relief. So even if, Rahul Gandhi has been summoned for questioning, later Sonia Gandhi, the Congress interim chief, has also been asked to appear for questioning. So even if the ED wants to ask certain questions, my point is, why call every action by any central agency political vendetta?
The facts are completely wrong. I'm sorry for you. Now, I've got the PMLA. I hope you've had a chance to look at the PMLA. Now, take the schedule. The schedule has several paragraphs under different acts. Show me which is the offense under the Income Tax Act, which is included in the schedule. Tell me an answer to that question. Have you looked at the schedule? Is it an income tax case included in the schedule? Obviously, you have not looked at the schedule, which is why you are asking questions round and round without directly addressing the first question that I raised, which is the scheduled offense. An income tax violation, assuming there is one, is pending before the Supreme Court, but it is not a scheduled offense. So how can you take up a PMLA investigation for an alleged violation of income tax? Number two,
when in the same case,
the matter for the commissioner and the ITAT is now before the Supreme Court. Is the ED higher than the Supreme Court? Can the ED give a finding which is contrary to or anticipate the Supreme Court's order? The Supreme Court is the Supreme Court of India. They will decide whether there's an income tax violation or not. If they decide there's an income tax violation, the consequences will follow. But the PMLA can never be a consequence of an income tax violation. You are not addressing my question, because you have not bothered to ask the BJP this question. You are avoiding my question. Tell me, which is the scheduled offense? Where is the FIR? Which is the police station in which the FIR has been registered? Give us a copy of the FIR.
Of course, those are important points you're raising, and that's why I mentioned that according to ED officials, ED is following the investigation. ED has taken cognizance of the investigation by the Income Tax Department. So let me come back to my question that I asked you earlier. When, for the same case, Mr. Bansal, Mr. Mallikarjun Kharge were questioned by the ED, at that time, why these issues did not come up?
You can't stop me from answering by talking non-stop. I'm asking you, which is the income tax violation, which is a scheduled offense, before the PMLA can start. You're not asking this question to the ED, and you're repeating it parrot-like to me. And when I raise my hand, you should pause and allow me to speak. I'm asking this for the 6th time. Which is the income tax violation, which is a scheduled offense?
Okay. So you are saying that the action by ED is unjustified, in your opinion, and you will approach the court in this regard?
We will, in due course. We'll first go and tell the ED and ask him, show us the scheduled offense, show us the FIR. If they have an FIR, they should give it to us. Is that not a basic right of a person who's summoned? Have you ever heard of criminal law being started, criminal law being put in motion without an FIR? I mean, in your experience, you should know that a criminal investigation cannot start without an FIR.
But BJP, the ruling government, we have heard various ministers from the government saying that, due process is being followed here. And if indeed Rahul Gandhi is innocent, he does not really need to worry.
Nobody has to prove his innocence. Everybody is presumed to be innocent. The fundamental principle of criminal law is everyone is presumed to be innocent until the prosecution proves him guilty in a court of law. Don't invert the basic principles of jurisprudence. You should know better. I think you know better. You're scared of the BJP, which is why you're repeating these words. Ask the BJP ministers,
I am not
where is the FIR?
scared
Why
of
are they
the
not
BJP,
giving us?
sir. I am
Why are they not
just
giving us
raising the questions.
FIR? Why are they not giving us the copy of the FIR? Why are you not asking for a copy of the FIR? Get a copy of the FIR and put it on your screen for all your viewers. You are asking me questions. You don't want to ask the BJP ministers questions.
So one thing is very clear. You are saying that there is no FIR. It does not make a case under PMLA, and hence it is a violation by an agency like Enforcement Directorate, something that you are expected to challenge in the due course of time. Have I understood it correctly, sir?
To the best of our information, knowledge, and despite our repeated demands, we have not been given a copy of the FIR, nor have we been told which agency has registered an FIR and in which police station. Therefore, it's a fair conclusion that there is no FIR. If I'm wrong, if we are wrong, show us the FIR. Matter is over.
Okay. Is it also because, a lot of opposition leaders are questioned by various investigative agencies again and again, and when they join the BJP, charges also vanish away. So is this also a political point that the Congress party is making by holding protest against Enforcement Directorate's action, against how the agencies, as per the opposition, are being misused?
Let me ask you an elementary question. This is the Prevention of Money Laundering Act 2002. And the Act starts by saying, Section 1 of the Act starts by saying, this Act applies to the whole of India. Now show me one case where this Act has been applied in a BJP ruled state against a BJP minister. Why is this Act applied only in opposition ruled states and opposition political leaders? That itself shows that the Act is being applied, what we call an evil eye and an unequal hand. That's a famous expression. An evil eye and an unequal hand. Which is why we are protesting. In a democracy, we are entitled to protest when a law is being applied with an evil eye and an unequal hand. We will go to court in due course. But first, let us get the answers to the basic questions that we have been raising for several days and several weeks.
Okay. We've also got another comment from BJP saying that when Aam Aadmi Party's health minister, Delhi's health minister, Mr. Satyendra Jain, was taken into custody by Enforcement Directorate, that time Congress welcomed it, in fact sought Satyendra Jain's resignation. But now the same ED's action against Mr. Rahul Gandhi is being seen as vendetta. How will you like to respond to this?
I don't know the facts of Mr. Satyendra Jain's case, so it will be completely improper for me to comment. But in Satyendra Jain's case, apparently or presumably there is an FIR, and based on that FIR, sometime later, some years later, the ED has started action. So I don't know the facts of the case, so why should I comment on it?
But this, according to you, is pure witch hunt. Is this an attempt to divert the attention from the key issues? Because those are the other kind of statements we've heard from other leaders of the Congress party.
India, under the BJP, has already reached a golden era. We have no unemployment. We have no inflation. wholesale price inflation has not crossed 15.5% this morning. There is no war or war-like situation on the borders. Pakistan and China are bye-bye with India, and there is no unemployment in this country. Infant mortality rate is not 43 in Madhya Pradesh and 38 in Uttar Pradesh. We are living in a virtual paradise. Therefore, we can indulge in the luxury of witch-hunting opposition leaders. That's all I
One
can
last
say
question,
today.
Mr. Chidambaram, before we let you go. On two big announcements that were made today, with your permission, if I may ask this question, it's slightly different from what we are discussing. It's on jobs. Agnipath scheme has been launched to transform armed forces to strengthen India's security. And simultaneously, there's an announcement by PMO India that government is planning to recruit 10 lakh people in various departments and ministries over 18 months. Do you see these steps in the right direction, considering, apart from the issues that you raised, unemployment is also a big issue in the country?
8 years ago, the Prime Minister designate and then the Prime Minister, after he assumed office, announced that he will create 2 crore jobs a year. 8 years later, in the 9th and 10th year, they will recruit 10 lakh jobs. I suppose there is a difference between lakh and crore. They should have created 10 crore jobs in 5 years. And now they say they will create 10 lakh jobs and they'll be recruited to government in 2 years. Let's wait and see. As far as Agnipath is concerned, I'm just looking at it. I don't know the details. It's a tour of duty recruitment. I've already seen comments by several retired officers, including Lieutenant General Prakash Menon. I've seen a comment by a 3-star Indian Army officer. I've seen comments by Lieutenant General Vinod Bhatia, Major General Shashikant Pitre, Brigadier Rahul Bonsle, and a number of officers who have pointed out that this project should be first tried and tested. You should float a pilot project, learn the lessons, and then only launch a major project like this to recruit 46,000 soldiers, Jawan level. Now, I'm not an expert on defense matters. I'm studying the matter. I don't think it's proper to offer off-the-cuff comments. I can't say I welcome it. I can't say I oppose it. One has to study it very carefully.
All right, we leave it there. Mr. Chidambaram, thank you very much for joining us here on Mirror Now this evening. Always a pleasure to have you on the show. Thank you for joining us tonight.